Once someone in your audience becomes a student, you'll need to take them from where they are and point them in the right direction to where they need to be. And you can do this by creating learning objectives. Learning objectives are clear statements of what your students will achieve, basically saying at the end, you will be able to do something. Now, how complex and specific an objective is will determine the wording you use. For example, to remember a cake recipe would be easier than to create a new cake recipe. A useful tool to help you think through this is Bloom's taxonomy. It classifies learning objectives into steps from easy to difficult and offers suggested verbs to use. The steps increasing in complexity are remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So applying this to the cake recipes, remember might be to recall a cake recipe. Understand could be to explain why you need each ingredient and mix them in a certain way. Apply, well, this is likely where you'll make and bake a cake. Analyze, you could examine what happens to the cake when you add different ingredients and use different techniques. Evaluate, maybe to assess why different ingredients change a cake. Then create could be to develop an entirely new cake recipe. Applying this thinking will help you articulate what you actually want your students to achieve. Now, even though there is an order of complexity, it doesn't mean you have to teach in that order. It may make more sense to start with apply to set context, and then to move down to remember and understand. So coming back to wording learning objectives along the lines of, at the end of this, you will be able to do something. You can replace do with a more appropriate verb to articulate the objective complexity. So my cake recipe course learning objective might be, at the end of this course, you will be able to create any cake that you can imagine. So take some time to consider what learning objectives you have for your students, and we'll apply this thinking in the next couple of modules when you name your students' destination and map their journey to get there.